Thank you for joining us for another riveting episode of Behind Breaking Bond. I've been off for a while, so we haven't done this. So I'm being joined by my partner in crime,
I haven't
of course.
done this for a while either.
And you're not doing it very well. Introduce yourself.
Andy Kahan, Director of Victim Services, Crime Stoppers of Houston. And yes, I did bring my own water today because Fox still refuses to give us water.
We give everybody water except
Bad behavior.
Right. Hey, I'm so pleased. Grizzy Castillo from Grizzy Hood News is here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, guys. Thank you for having me. It's such an honor.
For folks that aren't familiar with your work, tell us what you do.
All right, I run a page called Grizzy's Hood News. It's a grassroots news page. It's got updates, weather, traffic, accident scenes, crime, happenings, local happenings in the neighborhood, specifically robberies, thefts. We share anything that's happening that affects the community, like school threats, anything of that sort. We like to make awareness.
You've got quite the following. A lot of people follow you.
Yes. It's quite scary almost because I started with like 50 followers.
What prompted you to do this?
The Hood News was first like just funny happenings in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
That's what it was meant to be. Like, I tend to be a comedian, and then it turned into something real because we needed something, the voice of the people type of situation was happening where they're like, Grizzy, we're raising money for the Crime Stoppers reward for Josue Flores. Can you come out and use your platform so we can raise more money for the Crime Stoppers reward? I'm like, sure. Then I would be approached by more and more families of murder victims. And then it just started coming together as a news page. It's the weirdest thing, but it's such a blessing because I didn't know. Like, I just wanted to have a good time. And really, we have a lot of issues in our community. And it raises the bar for the people. Like, we have something for us. So that's...
In a lot of ways, I think you're sort of where news and social media are kind of coming together and becoming kind of this whole different force. You're the first person that I ever saw that would actually go to crime scenes and you would go live from crime scenes. You would tell people what was going on.
Yeah. It was a weird. I don't even know. I can't even explain like how that was. Like the first time I ever went to one, I was just curious. I was like,
how did you know how did you find it? How did you...
That's a
the
good
followers.
question.
The followers dispatch me.
Yeah,
the followers. They'll tell me if I used to drive a lot, so I would come across scenes. But the way things are now, they dispatch me. The followers. They'll send me a video, and it might not be the best quality. It might have been recorded kind of grainy footage. So I go out there. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna let everybody know in real time what's happening out here.
And you get a lot of good stuff too from people sending it to you where they happen to see an accident or some breaking news event. They'll record it and send it to you.
A lot of times I get, a lot of families of victims of crime, they reach out. A lot of times we get parents who are concerned. They'll send me some shocking video or something that might not have made it to mainstream. And that's how we get it out there. And then mainstream will catch on. And it's a nice thing to work together as a community, including with media and local law enforcement, to raise awareness.
Sometimes it looks like you're doing this 24/7. When do you sleep?
Are you your own staff?
Yeah, I am my own. Like my own little newsroom is me. I don't have it. I wish.
So your staff is very subservient to you.
Myself, yeah.
They listen to you.
That's it. No,
and your agenda gets
no
followed.
conflict of interest. Yeah.
And she can't fire herself.
I can't fire myself. Yeah, not at all. And so. Yeah, that's for right now. That's how I have it because so much sensitive stuff comes in, and I don't want to ever betray anybody's trust in what they're telling me, or be responsible for someone else doing it. So that's pretty much why. Like somebody will see a video and they might recognize a suspect, and it could be even a family member of the suspect.
Sure,
they'll be like, Grizzy, I know who that is, but please don't tell anybody that you got it from me. And I'll be like, okay. And we put it out there. Hey, so-and-so, come on down. That's the person.
What kind of keeps you going with it?
I don't know. It all happened. The feeling that we're helping people is the best.
Yeah.
I think that's the primary reason.
I think that's probably what most journalists, that's why they do it.
Yeah.
Is because you get this feeling of, I'm telling people something they need to know. I'm helping them with a situation.
Exactly. And that's how I feel. It feels good, especially when we're able to be of service, to somebody that otherwise may not have a shot. Because media, they get so much. You guys, I don't even know how you guys filter it. And so something that might have slipped through the crack, we can pick it up.
Yeah.
And then somebody else can help. And I have a lot of news reporter friends that like to help. And, hey, you know, can I get in contact with this person that you posted about? We'd like to cover their story as well. So it works hand in hand.
Yeah, I mean, you have pretty good news judgment as far as you sort of seem to know what to really focus on and kind of keep going back to. And that, I mean, you know, I think that's something you're just kind of.
Are there any stories that really stand out to you? I mean, like when I get asked that question, I can tell people what some of the stories that I've worked on with families, you know, my top whatever.
Yeah, Arlene Alvarez, Josue Flores, Jocelyn Nungaray, all the children, DeAndrea Ford, a missing mother who still hasn't been found, but somebody's been charged with her murder. There are a lot of stories like where these people could have been my own family member. I put myself in that place. A baby sister, a brother, a lot of missing men too. Like we have a lot of situations that are very peculiar. Those are always with me.
You get approached by family members at scenes. They want to. Yeah. They want you to tell their story.
I get invited out to a lot of vigils, a lot of searches too.
I've seen you at a lot. We've run into each other a lot.
Yes. I always see Andy.
Do you think that people are going to start kind of mimicking you or decide, hey, she can do it, I can do it too?
I try to not encourage people to do that because there's some sacrifices. I've had to shut down, like my address, my house is under somebody else's name. Like a lot of things have had to happen to keep me safe. I'm still out there, but I've had to protect my family. Their social medias have been.
When you put yourself out there, you also put yourself at risk.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. You'll have people. Oh, I love what you're doing. Thank you so much. And then you'll have a segment of people that are. I hate you. I want to harm you. I mean, there are people that are like that. Oh yeah. Unfortunately.
Yes, for sure. So, you know, I just have to brace myself. I don't encourage anybody to necessarily do it because I don't want to be responsible for anybody else's, you know, anything that could happen. But I do let people know, look, it comes with a lot of sacrifice. Be ready for people to love you and also be ready for people to hate you. Yeah. And I deal with both sides.
Because there's, I think, this attitude that some people have, especially younger people. Oh, I can be a media influencer. They want to get famous being on social media.
Until they get hit with that lawsuit.
Right, or until there's some sort of dangerous thing.
Yes. Yeah.
Or it just doesn't happen. It's not, people aren't going to throw money at you just because you have a big social media following.
Yes.
Now you have a big fan in Mattress Mac, don't you?
Oh yeah,
really?
Yes,
Tell us about that.
Mattress Mac. I mean, we got together for the Center Pointless. We had a message for people. Like he represents the hood. I mean, he's a millionaire and everything, but he still has his heart with I-45 between Tidwell and Parker. Like that is his hood.
Yes.
And you know, we share that in common. He didn't have power to provide for the people. They had a bunch of generators during Centerpoint. And here I was in the hood also, no power for days. So we kind of united through that, through mutual friends. Really, it was the Jocelyn Nungaray case because he was a silent donator. Like he wanted to help. He never wants anybody to recognize him for those things. Very humble man. But I met him then and we started running into each other, and he is an amazing human being.
He is. Yes. Back in the day, back like in the early 80s, this station, it wasn't KRIV, it was K-Dog. Oh. And a man by the name of Jerry Marcus, he was the general manager. And Mattress Mac came to him, hey, you know, I want to do commercials. And so he shot his own commercial where, you know, he kind of, we really will save you money. And Jerry Marcus was like, this is terrible. You know, let us help you come up with a better commercial. And Jim McInville was adamant, you know, no, I'm going to jump up. Yeah. It's real. And it just stuck in people's heads.
Yes. I grew up watching him, Mr. Rogers. Like, I have my own heroes. He was definitely one of my childhood heroes. The way he'd jump on top of that couch, that was prohibited to me, but I lived vicariously through him. It was just really awesome guy, and it's amazing to work with him and have that message for people to look out for one another. That's basically that we stand united, H-Town strong.
And he's a perfect example of somebody that basically started with nothing, built this huge empire, if you will, and he's constantly been giving back to people.
Exactly.
You, well, first of all, I'll talk real quick about, we both, well, you more than me, but we shared kind of a horrific situation with a woman. I know this will bother you, Andy, because you're a big cat lover.
Yes.
I literally, I watched it and almost had to turn my head around. It was that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it made me sick to my stomach.
I mean, that you had never seen anything like that
No,
before.
we had a young lady who trusted a 60-year-old woman. She needed volunteers because she was coming into a new apartment situation, and she needed somebody to babysit some cats. She needed about a month.
Right.
And so a lot of people were stepping up. You know, the cat community, the people, the volunteers, the foster groups, they network. They look out for one another. And it's a very tireless, you know, these people are very unselfish. They love to help where they can.
And and on social media, this woman, I mean, she appeared to be a huge, hey, I'll help you. You know, you can trust me with your, I mean, there were a lot of rescue groups. There were shelters that they would give the woman cats because everyone thought that, well, she's treating these cats good. She's finding them homes.
Yeah, she had a rapport for being so helpful.
Yeah.
And nobody would question it. Who would question this little lady, you know, a more elderly woman like with cats? I mean, she had her heart in the right place, it seemed. So this young lady accepted the help. When it came time to getting the cat, she was ready and the stability was there. She got the cats back from some of the volunteers except that one woman. So people were asking questions, where's the cat? Why didn't you say something sooner? Allegedly, the cat had gone missing. And so people were like, okay, give us a chance to go look around. Maybe it's San Leon. There's got to be a chance the cat could still be in the neighborhood.
Sure.
I mean, it's not a huge city like Houston. And, oh, my God, Randy and Andy, when I tell you guys, the people went out there to go search, and they came into cats dead in the kennels and carriers, a hoarding situation, horrifying. The grass was tall. There was a starving horse in one area. There were so many things going on, you guys.
You found a dead dog in a closet.
Yes, there was a dead dog in a closet. The animals just, you know, decaying away. They sent me pictures, and I could not believe what I saw. I had every intention to go watch the Texans football game. Like I told everybody, I can't wait. I had to cancel, and I went to go look into that.
And being there is so much worse than looking at pictures.
Yes,
isn't it?
it is. The smell, I can't unsmell it. I still imagine the smell. It smelled like ammonia from all the urine, the feces, walking into every room and just seeing a dead cat in a cage or skeletal remains. It's an indescribable feeling. Like, how did it get, like, I kept asking, how?
Right.
Like,
and
where
how did it go on so long without somebody? I think
How
that's
long do you think this went on?
It had months. Don't
yeah,
you think?
I think it was years. I think years. And we did have neighbors driving up. They want to remain anonymous, but we had neighbors that were reporting that one neighbor would go walk and look around, and then she'd be shooed away by the lady. Like,
and it was kind of hidden.
Yes.
Right? It was.
Yes.
The property was a farther back. It was all this foliage. I mean, you really had to kind of search for it to actually, if you were driving down the street, to find it.
Yeah, I skipped it up, as a matter of fact, when I was on the GPS, and I drove right past it, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, where is this? And then I see the tall grass, the limbs, the foliage, just all overgrown. And I started seeing all the cans in the back of a truck, and I started seeing the carriers, the pet carriers.
It was
stacked
nuts.
on top of another.
Yeah.
Every room there was, like, just in one hallway, there were like 20 of them stacked by the doorway.
You had, and I use it in the report, you had the greatest quote you were talking about. I mean, you were literally walking, crunching on bones. And you compared it to like a Holocaust for cats.
Yeah, like a genocide for kitty cats.
Yes.
It's horrific. I've never, just a few weeks before, we were in Cut and Shoot, Texas, and I covered an animal cruelty case about 10 to 15 dogs left it to die and rot also in front of some lady's house. But I was not prepared. I was already prepared in my mind when I was riding up to San Leon because I've already been through it. No, this was, I hope to never see anything like that again.
So what happens now?
Well,
now.
Yeah.
She was in and out of the hospital. Now, according to the Galveston County Sheriff's Office, they are investigating, and she could hopefully face criminal charges. They found at least 2 cats that were in the least amount of decomposition. And they're doing necropsies on those 2 cats. In my mind, I don't think the woman intentionally killed cats.
No.
But this is what I don't understand about it. Obviously, she's got some sort of a mental illness, right? I mean, to live in this hoarding situation.
Most definitely.
But she had enough snap to get these cats from people, right? She's taking in these cats. Let's say that she ran out of money and couldn't feed them anymore. Like Bobby said in the report, open the gates, let them go.
She didn't have running water. The one thing I noticed, the one constant as I walked through this house of horrors, was that there were lots of, you saw them too, a lot of cans of cat food
everywhere,
open everywhere.
They were even in the front. When you, as soon as you get there, you see cat food cans,
but not one water bowl, because I found out that the water had been cut off since like that first major freeze we had in Houston. So no running water. You're just giving these cats a bunch of cat food. I mean, they were just withering away and dying.
And you know, on social media, it was the big blame game. People wanted to blame these rescue groups. Well, why did you give her these cats and shelters? Why did you? She fooled a lot of people.
Yes.
And the way that I look at it, instead of trying to blame people, look at it from the standpoint of what a good learning experience this has been. And I've always said, don't let anybody have your pet until you go see where they're going to stay, right?
What was it? Why would people give her pets?
I think it was just this trust thing, Andy, where it was like she would like reach out, you know, hey, if you have cats and you know you don't want them, and she would plead for people to, and she would go on these different websites.
So these weren't people who just dropped their cats off and said, "I'll pick them up in a week."
No.
This was it. This was their.
Kaylee kind of was.
Yeah, that was a different situation,
Exactly.
and thank goodness that through this this was discovered.
Yeah. I mean, Kaylee was okay. She's finding a different apartment and she's moving. She had 2 cats. And she had Bobby, I think, who was there, had 1 cat, or somebody that Bobby knew had one of her cats. But that's all they could take. So she was told about this woman. But the thing about it, too, is she would come and pick them up. She, wouldn't be like, well, come drop your cat off at my house. She would go get them. And she would look on these social media sites for cats that didn't have adoption fees, and I mean, she was collecting cats.
Yeah.
And maybe her heart was in the right place at one time, and I'm sure it probably was. But it obviously got out of control. I don't understand why she didn't reach out to all of these people that would have come. There would have been rescue groups, shelters. There would have been different people that would have said, we'll help you with this. We'll help, we'll help you take care of this. You're overwhelmed. And she may have had some medical issues.
Most definitely. If you're living in the house of hoarding.
So if you're doing a follow-up on this, what would you do? You're doing a follow-up story. You're going to have to see what happened.
What I hope it is, and again, this is my own personal feeling, I think that she should be criminally charged with animal cruelty.
Yes.
I mean, that's a cruel thing to do. And how do you sit there with all of these cats and crates? You're surrounded by them, and you're watching them die.
Yeah, she was of sound mind. If you ask for my opinion, she is of sound mind.
Yes.
Just like you can go eat, you can drive, you can do these things. She knew exactly what was going on.
Right. If you've got enough snap that you can go on social media.
To ask for cats,
then
you're looking for a kitty.
Right.
Yeah, it's methodical. There's a process there for her. My question is about some of these people that gave her cats were from rescue groups.
Yes.
Who is vetting all these cats? Why aren't they doing a follow-up? Are they just taking their good word? I would want to see pictures. Like, where is the cat?
Why would a rescue group?
And even some, from what I understand, were out of town and maybe out of state.
Exactly. And somebody's collecting money, because I donate money to fosters.
Right.
So it makes you wonder what else is going on there, because I saw that in the cut and shoot situation with the dead dogs.
Yeah.
People were collecting money.
This is number one. If you're talking about I think if you want to get involved with a rescue group or you want to help a rescue group, you got to make sure that they are a 501. See, right? They're told, you know, they're an actual nonprofit.
Yeah.
And that you know you need to see stuff, or you need to ask questions, because anybody can say they're a dog rescuer or a cat rescuer. That's what she did.
Yeah.
Is there like a central database where I could do, like, I want to find a rescue group in Harris County? Here are the groups.
That would be great if there is one, because I don't know of one. There's so many of them. And from time to time, you'll see bad actors. I mean, you'll see people that they might be taking up money for, you know, a dog that gets a little publicity or looks real.
Hell, people fake they have cancer to raise
right.
money.
Exactly.
Yes.
The dogs are just
Dogs
like
are
tugging at our heartstrings.
Yeah, come
yes, yes. And this also raises the concern how huge of a straight pet population we have. It's a crisis.
It's terrible.
We're shipping animals out of state. I mean, but who's keeping up with all the well-being of all these animals? We don't know at the end of the day. That's how flustered these rescue groups are, that they're desperate. They don't have enough people to volunteer to foster at home. And it's huge. Please get your pets paid and neutered.
Yes,
folks.
yes,
we
definitely.
cannot say that enough. That is the one big message that I'm trying to tell everybody. We can avoid all of these things if we get our pets spayed and neutered.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about it. And we need to have stricter laws when it comes to animals.
Yes.
I mean, we
Texas
definitely
is primitive, if you ask me, when it comes to
it is. That's why you see all these dogs coming out of shelters here, going to states like Colorado or northern states where they have very specific laws about if you've got a pet, it has to be spayed or neutered. They don't do this backyard breeder stuff, or I mean, it's just the laws are more stringent, and that's what I think it's going to take.
It's going to take that and more, because we're so behind. The numbers are so high.
We got a legislative session coming up. So, you know, if you guys want to get involved, if you want to make this your issue, January 25 is when the legislative session starts. So contact your state rep, state senator, and say, hey, consider enacting a law very similar to what other states do.
And a great nonprofit to get a hold of is Houston Pet Set. Tina and Tama are already talking about different things that they're going to push during this next legislative session. I mean, they've done a lot as far as getting laws here passed, and we need more.
And you were featured in their documentary, weren't you?
Yeah.
You're such a huge animal advocate, and we thank you for that,
now
Randy.
You're
the voice.
Too.
Yes, but you're I look up to you guys. I mean, you're a crime victims advocate. Now I found out you're a cat daddy as well.
I feed strayed cats.
Oh yes. And you know, like they're the best. I mean, they're like they're voiceless. They're vulnerable. You know, we should care for them. And these atrocities that are happening, and let's not even talk about Cleveland, Texas. There are areas where they get
awful
tortured. Animals are being found tortured with arrows and spears.
It's
stabbed,
unbelievable.
Yeah, shot to death. I mean, just horrible. We have a huge problem, and it needs to be addressed through the laws of Texas, through the people. It's a big collective effort. That
we have to come together and solve that problem.
Exactly.
Grizzy, thank you so much for joining
Randy.
us. And you're going to have to come back sometime, right?
Sounds good. Yes, I will be back.
Hey, thank you so much for watching, and be sure to check out our Breaking Bond segments on Tuesday nights on the 9 o'clock newscast. Remember to take care of yourself and everyone else. Bye.